It's been a couple of years now since we received this new generation of the Lexus NX, and I like it quite a lot. I previously drove the hybrid version, and you can check out that video up there if you're interested, or link in the video description. But this one is the plug-in hybrid. So is this one worth all of the extra money, or should you just stick to the NX hybrid instead? Let's go for a drive and find out. Underneath the pretty body of the Lexus NX is essentially a Toyota Rav4 Prime. It uses the same 2.5-liter engine, the same electric motors in the front and in the back, and it produces the same overall power, 304 horsepower. I don't know what the torque is because Lexus and Toyota generally don't share what the combined total system torque is, but it feels pretty peppy. Right now I'm in electric mode and there's plenty of get up and go. But of course, to get the full 304 horsepower, you gotta turn on the engine. The NX450h Plus can accelerate from a stop to 100 kilometers an hour in about 6 seconds. Quite impressive for a 2-ton crossover. The car has a few different drive modes to choose from, with Sport providing a sharp throttle response and the normal drive mode giving the SUV a smooth driving demeanor. The total electric driving range of this Lexus NX is 61 kilometers. That's what Lexus says. And from my week of driving this car, that's pretty much what I've noticed. Of course, that will vary depending on whether you use the climate control, your driving style, whether you live in a part of the world where there are a lot of uphills and downhills like how I do. So that number may vary for you. But once the battery is depleted and the engine has to take over, it behaves like a traditional hybrid. So it becomes essentially a Lexus NX350h. However, you can also tell the engine to recharge the battery. But if you do that, then the fuel economy is going to take a big hit. I should also mention that there is a charge hold mode. So if you have a lot of highway driving, but you want to keep an electric charge in the battery for later use, you can do that in this Lexus NX450h Plus. To fully recharge the battery, because the engine won't do it on its own, you can use a regular wall outlet or a level 2 charger. From a household wall outlet, you'll be looking at around 12 hours from 0% to 100% and about 2.5 hours for the same charge with a level 2 charger. If you decide to drive the NX450h Plus without any battery charge, it should return 6.2 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 7 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. I was able to consistently plug it in, and thus I averaged 0.9 liters per 100 kilometers during my week with the car at an average of 19.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers of electricity use. On the go, the Lexus NX is a really easy crossover SUV to drive, which is exactly what you would expect from a Lexus vehicle / Toyota vehicle. Steering is light and pretty direct, however it doesn't really encourage you to push it hard around corners. This doesn't really have the pedigree of something like a BMW X3 or a Genesis GV70. But for long daily commutes or family road trips, this will keep you really comfortable and you're not going to be tired at the end of your trip. The brakes have a smooth operation with an indistinguishable transition from regen braking to using the physical brakes. Regen braking cannot be adjusted like in some other PHEVs and is instead controlled through the brake pedal. The NX450h Plus comes standard with E all-wheel drive. There is no physical shaft that links the front and the rear wheels, and instead there is an electric motor that powers the rear wheels. Most of the time, the Lexus NX450h Plus is a front-wheel drive SUV, with the E all-wheel drive system being engaged on initial launch or through sharper corners. The last Lexus NX that I drove did not have the optional adaptive dampers, but I still considered the ride to be great. With the addition of the optional adaptive dampers on this car, the ride is just about perfect. Driving over manhole covers is as smooth as driving over a fruitcake. The suspension soaks up the bumps and isolates them from the cabin. The seats are the other half of the comfort equation. They're plush, supportive, and don't induce any pressure points through your back, legs, or bum. Leg space for the front and rear occupants is plentiful, as this generation of the NX is larger than the last. My knees are nowhere near the dashboard, and behind my 6'4" driving position, I have an ample amount of space. My knees are up against the back of the front seats, but they're not squished in any way, and the back of those front seats are soft leather, not hard plastic. Headroom, though, is a slightly different story. There is enough of it in the front seats while my driving position is at its lowest point, but it just feels as though the headliner is awfully close to my head. It's the same story in the back, but this time my hair does brush up against the headliner. However, you can recline those back seats for a bit more comfort and more headroom. Behind all rows of seats, the 2024 Lexus NX450h Plus has 643 liters of space, and it has 1,328 liters of space with the rear seats folded. There is a little bit of storage underneath the trunk floor for the charging cable, but it does not have a spare wheel. Now, how much does the 2024 Lexus NX plug-in hybrid cost? Well, obviously it does cost more than the traditional hybrid version of the NX, but the starting price is not too bad in my opinion. It starts at around $60,000 Canadian. However, this one isn't the base model. It is in fact the F Sport 3, which means that it is fully loaded. And it comes with a price tag of around $77,000 Canadian. That is before fees and taxes, before dealership markup, and before the rebates. Here in BC, I believe that it is eligible for up to $7,000 in rebates, if I'm not mistaken. But still, it's quite a big chunk of money for this car. So, what kind of gadgets do you get for that kind of money? Well, you get the new Lux synthetic leather, which is actually pretty convincing for the real stuff. The front seats are heated and ventilated. The rear seats are just heated, as is the steering wheel. The liftgate is hands-free and programmable. There's a dual-zone automatic climate control, a head-up display, there's a sunroof, a wireless phone charging pad, a digital key, and a 17-speaker Mark Levinson audio system. One of the biggest new gadgets is the infotainment system, which is the same one that is shared in new Toyota vehicles as well. This and the one used in Toyota vehicles is identical, right down to the graphics. It allows for wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. It's pretty straightforward to navigate your way through this new infotainment system, and the built-in navigation system is subscription-based now. But if you carry your smartphone, which let's face it, pretty much everyone does, you'll always have Google Maps or Waze to use for navigation via CarPlay or Android Auto. As for styling, this new car got rid of the overbite that the last generation NX had. It has a chiseled jaw, almost like Jay Leno's, and it retains the large hourglass grille, but it looks proportionate to the rest of the car. Around back, the tailpipes are hidden and it carries a light bar that extends the width of the crossover. That is very much an automotive trend these days. And finally, the Lexus NX is a very safe crossover SUV with standard Lexus Safety System 3.0 Plus, along with a Top Safety Pick Plus from the IIHS. That's a lot of pluses. Maybe that's why it has one at the end of its name. So is the Lexus NX worth it as a PHEV, or is it better as a more traditional hybrid? Well, compared to other luxury PHEVs like the BMW X3 or the Volvo XC60, the NX PHEV has a much lower starting price, and it comes pretty well equipped at that lower price as well. However, this is a luxury crossover, so you kind of do want it to be a little bit more spec'd up. But at almost $80,000, like how this one is, it's a lot of money. And that's before fees and taxes, before dealership markup, and before rebates. If I had that kind of budget, the one that I would be looking at is probably the Volvo XC60. Maybe not the ultimate trim, but more so the plus trim, because it still comes really well equipped. It's a little bit more spacious on the inside, and you're getting a very powerful engine in that car. However, I still maintain that the Lexus NX is a great car. And if I were looking to buy this car, I would probably be going for the hybrid version and just fully spec'd out. If you are interested in the PHEV version of the NX, just stick to the base model in my opinion, because at $80,000, it's quite a lot of money for something like this. But anyway, if you would like to know more about this NX PHEV, I have a written review of it with a few more details over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up there. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you next time.
Yeah.